And now, your Midday Ark-La-Miss news update.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to NBC News Daily. I'm Randy Stone with your Midday Ark-La-Miss update. Governor John Bel Edwards delivers an address at the Monroe Civic Center. He did that yesterday, Tuesday, speaking on several issues, but heavily focusing on the development of passenger rail through I-20. NBC's Stephen Pappas shares more.
Pretty soon it'll be more than just freight trains that are running through the tracks of Northeast Louisiana, as today at his State of the State address in Monroe, Governor John Bel Edwards talking a lot about the future of passenger rail through the I-20 corridor.
We have $10 million on passenger rail for North Louisiana.
Monroe Mayor Friday Ellis feels this project is vital to be able to grow the area even more, not just through business, but leisure as well.
More importantly, it's going to connect not only workforce, but folks even touring our region from Atlanta all the way to Dallas.
Governor Edwards meeting with the CEO of Amtrak recently to reaffirm the state's commitment to putting passenger rail in the state. And if you're worrying about what such expansion could do to your wallet.
And it's one of the few expansions of passenger rail where the studies suggest that at the very beginning it will pay for itself.
While this expansion is still in its infancy, Mayor Ellis telling us where stations will be located once the rails are down.
You start looking at your population centers. Monroe, Ruston, and Shreveport will be our main population centers that they're going to start looking at for terminals.
Passenger rail gives people the chance to travel without spending a fortune on gas or ponying up money for expensive airline tickets. For one local resident, he wants to bring the Louisiana to the travelers.
Different people will get to see how we live down here, because when they stop here, they always talk about our southern hospitality, and it's way different from other places, so they'll be able to get a little bit of that Louisiana in them.
The city of Monroe will be hosting a summit on Thursday with delegates from Texas, Alabama, and Mississippi to discuss the importance of passenger rail through their states. Reporting for your Ark-La-Miss news source, I'm Stephen Pappas.
That chamber meeting yesterday was certainly a packed house. Governor John Bel Edwards also joined Monroe city officials in the announcement of an extensive grant for the Cooley House. About $483,000 has been awarded by the National Park Service Save America Treasures Grant Program. This house is Walter Burley Griffin's last structure to be built in the United States, and it's also one of the last surviving examples of prairie school home architecture in the South. According to the governor, Louisiana is one of only 25 states to receive this type of funding, with the Cooley House being the sole recipient.
Let me tell you why this is so important. Because when something like this is gone, it's gone forever. And so to be able to get the attention that it needs, the recognition that it deserves, and the funding that is required in order to preserve this for future generations is really, really important.
Cooley House was placed on the National Register of Historic Places on a state level in 1986 and was elevated to the national level in 2010.
And now, exclusive Storm Tracker Doppler weather from the most experienced meteorologist in the Ark-La-Miss, Jared Floyd.
Forecast highs today, back near 80 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Winds will stay out of the east. Obviously, we've had some instances of fog this morning. That'll mix out, and with that, also the last of the clouds start moving out as we work through the day. Overnight lows tonight, back in the mid-50s. Again, we'll call it mostly clear to clear skies. Winds generally becoming calm. Should be a beautiful night across the area. And again, could still see some instances of fog tomorrow morning. We'll keep an eye on that possibility. Obviously, fog really just depends on how the winds treat us through the overnight time frame. Look at the 7-day forecast, shows above average temperatures through the second half of the week. Then we cue a cold front early Saturday morning. That'll likely bring showers and thunderstorms back into the region. The rain's much needed. The potential for thunderstorms not so much, although the severe weather threat looks to be fairly isolated at this point. The timing of the system's also seeming to do us some favors in that regards, simply because the early morning timing of this front will be at a time of the day that doesn't necessarily foster the severe weather potential. Nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on that as we head through the rest of the week. The clouds hang around as we head through the second half of the weekend and in the first of next week as that front kind of stalls across the region. And that pushes highs back into the low 80s and staying above average for the first half of next week and into the middle part of the week as well.
NBC News Daily continues now. God bless.